Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 151 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. Oh, I want to kick myself in the balls so hard that I need to go to the emergency room and have them removed. It just occurred to me that this is episode 151. Episode 150 was a bit of a moaning therapy session on how awful the metrics are here at Verbal Graffiti, but we're past that. We're positive. We're moving forward, right? The boys at D-Day, they saved America. They saved the world. They saved freedom. Some people took a bullet for us. And I'm whining about not having enough viewership at Verbal Graffiti. Enough of that whine. We're moving forward. But what I want to kick myself in the balls for is it just occurred to me as I was when I said 151, this episode, my favorite baseball player of all time, Bernie Williams, his number 51. I have a jersey of him. I've worn it in previous episodes. I should be wearing it right now. I will bring that jersey out for the second segment of this episode, if I can find it. Oh, I gotta be better. I got episode 151. How am I not wearing Bernie Williams 51 jersey? Anyways, moving upward and onward, or maybe downward and backward. We're moving. Who knows? I just realized couple weeks ago that I am direction dyslexia. The lefty loosey, righty tighty. I always get it wrong. Always get it wrong. And that's because I don't know my directions. You give me a compass, I'm still gonna get lost. I'm still gonna die of hunger in the woods. Anyways. Speaking of woods, forestry. A lot of you ask, hey, B-Man, how do you keep that slender figure of yours? Part of it's just genetics, but mostly I do a lot of road running, and I was on this path in the woods last weekend, hot, early July afternoon, 1 p.m., probably, I'm guessing 90 degrees, humidity, whoop, very, very high. I run with my shirt off. I'm not trying to show off or anything. I just perspire so much that if I do wear a t-shirt, it gets drenched, even if it is dry fit, and it will shave my nipples, which will hurt for days. So I gotta run with my shirt off if it's hot and humid. That's beside the point. So I get to this path. I pull into the parking lot. That's right, the B-Man. I drive to a path to run on. Is there anything more 2025 Western world than that? Anyways, so I drive a Camry that my dad owned. Anyway, so I'm at the path. I pull in a parking lot, park the car. I back in because I'm alpha, so I back in. All right, I back in, roll over my shoulder. The car's old, so I don't have the camera showing me what's behind me. So I got to roll, and I roll back. And as I'm parking and I got my earbuds, I take my shirt off. I'm getting everything ready. I still use Pandora. I don't pay for it, but I put it on the rap channel, hip hop rap. It plays a lot of Eminem, whatever. Beside the point. Get to the point, B-Man. Get to the point. This is why you only have 43 viewers. Anyways, I noticed there's a babe SUV, a black SUV. She gets out of her car and she's going to run the same path I am, and she's going the same direction I am. Now, I don't like to run my keys, so I hide them underneath the tire, and I hide the keys underneath the tire with 2 bottles of water. I know, I'm terrible for the bar. Anyway, so as I'm getting everything prepared before I go for my jog, 4 miles, she just gets out of her vehicle and starts running. And I'm like, all right, all right, well, on my run, I'm probably, hopefully, if I'm able to reach up to her, I'm going to get to see a hot babe run. So this nice afternoon Saturday run, it keeps getting better. Bright and sunny out, humid, which I love to run in, and now there's a hot babe in front of me that I get to chase after. So the B-Man, who's got it better than him on this Saturday afternoon? So I get on the trail, I have a running app thing that tracks me my time. Press go, and I go. And I noticed this baby is like nowhere to be found. So she's serious. She is a runner. And but the path in the woods, like there's a concrete path, but it's in the woods. So I'm running. Or not, it's just paved. It's a road, but it's in the woods. You know. And there's a lot of weaves and turns, but then we get to this part where there's, I don't know, maybe a mile straight, half a mile straight, and I see a lady in the distance, a far distance, and I'm pretty sure it's the lady who started to run before me that I saw in the parking lot. And I know she's running, like she's not running back, she's still running forward, so we're going the same direction, and I like this. And not just because I have a hot babe to chase after and not in an illegal manner, but anyone who does any type of running or biking knows that when you're running with other people, you run at a faster pace because you have to keep up with them or you have to chase after them. You'll see a lot of road runners and like the cyclists, like the professionals, they'll have like a team that they use as like pacers to keep their pace up, and then the pacers will fall out, and then they keep going. So I have a pacer, like I have someone to chase down, and she happens to be a hot babe, or so I think. So I mean, it's lovely, the best run of the summer so far. So I'm running, and she's running fast, but I eventually they get behind her, and I noticed that she's athletic. Like sometimes you'll watch a babe run and it's a little like Elaine Bettis from Seinfeld dancing. It's a little clunky and not there's no rhythm to it and there's no athleticism to it. But this lady, although with the B-man, I was faster than her. I tip of my penis to myself and my speed. I noticed like she had good form. Her bounce, like she had rhythm. She's clearly done a lot of running in her past. And let me tell you her outfit, because I did catch up to her. And when I was about 20 yards behind her, her running outfit was, it was revealing, but it was not slutty. Again, the B-man, I was wearing shorts. That's it. Probably. I don't know, maybe a few inches above my kneecaps. So, like, who am I to call anybody else a slut when I was wearing less than anybody else on that path? But she was wearing like yoga, biker, running spandex, probably, I don't know, 2-3 inches below the buttocks, and she had a great buttocks. Her gluteus maximus was like a handful on each side. I did not touch. I'm guesstimating here, but it full legs, but not fat. Like she had a perfect figure from behind. Her top, she was wearing a white tank top that was kind of rolled up. Again, 90 degrees humid. Not going to call anybody out for that. Not going to call anybody a hussy for that. But so you can see her lower back, the biker running shorts, and that was it. And she really wasn't sweating much. But that's not what drew my attention to myself and Mr. Perfect, my wiener. As I was 20 yards behind this babe, young babe, but we'll get to that in a little bit. That's the whole part of this story I want to get to, my recognition of something. But anyways, she had a ponytail, right? She's running, so she had hair probably down here, maybe like 6 inches below the shoulders, but she had it in a ponytail, and it was bouncing. Her ponytail had as much rhythm as her stride with her feet and her legs. It was just her ponytail behind her was just like bouncing. Each stride she took, it would bounce, and then she would take another stride and it would bounce to the other side of her shoulder. It was just boom, 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 boom. Like they're playing a little game of ping pong. Like her hair was playing ping pong. And she was young, so her hair wasn't frizzy. As I get older, the B-man, as I get older, I realize once the babes hit like 33 to 35, your hair gets a little frizzy. It's dry. It's not as free-flowing as those babes in their 20s. And so this babe, although her hair was a bit frizzy because 90 degrees, humid out, but it had a nice bounce to it. And I found that to be erotic. I didn't do anything while I was there on the path. Hell, even later that evening when I was gooning, or maybe it was the next morning when I was gooning, I did not think of her like ponytail bouncing as we were running, like not together, but on the same path. But I did like, make a note of that. I go, oh, write that in your notes and talk about it on Verbal Graffiti. And since that day, I have thought about the ponytail much more so than her perfect figure and her perfect running form and athleticism. And but here's the thing. So I'm enamored, uh, uh, aroused sexually to her ponytail. Not her, just the ponytail. I was like, wow, that like so much so that I almost like didn't. I wanted to slow my pace so that I could continue to enjoy the view of her lively ponytail. But I did not, because again, I got goals and aspirations of myself that I'm trying to achieve. The B man, trying to get a fast pace. So I passed her again. B man, I'm a fast guy, not fast, but all right. So anyways, so I pass her. And I'm long gone, but I go out 2 miles and then I stop, take a little break, and then I run 2 miles back. So as I stop, I notice at the 2 mile part that she's kind of catching up, and then she turns around before she reaches me. And clearly she's running back to the same spot I am, which is the parking lot where we both parked our cars separately. We did not go there together. We had no interaction up to that point. So I'm like, all right, this is good. Let me wait a couple minutes, let her get ahead, and let me try to reach her again. Again, have a pacemaker. So I wait a couple minutes more so than the B-man usually does, and then I start running. So I have someone to chase after, a rabbit with a beautiful, a ponytail. A ponytail. So I reach her again. But here's a problem with the B-man. Especially in these hot, humid days, I'm not great at keeping a pace. Like I run, and then I run out of energy. I walk a little bit, and then I run, and then I walk, then I run, then I walk. So there were times on the back half of the run, the last 2 miles, the 4 mile run, the B-man, like I would get past the ponytail, this hot babe, with the black spandex and the white top that's rolled up, showing her lower back with her butt, just a perfect butt, a hand cheek each side, left, right. Did not touch it. B-man, I'm a pervert, but I'm not a committed pervert. So I would pass her, especially like the last mile. I would pass her and I would start to walk. It had nothing to do with her. Just I was out of breath, 90 degrees, humid, mid-July. Trying to break an 8-minute mile pace. So I would stop to walk, and then the babe with the ponytail, younger, would like pass me. And then as I was walking, like I would start running again, and then I would pass her, but then I would start walking and she would pass me. And so we went back and forth maybe 3 or 4 times the last mile of the 4 mile run that we were both doing. Again, we were not together. There was no interaction. And then like she stopped, but before the parking lot where we both began, but I kept going to the very end of the parking lot. So like I ended up passing her. And so like I was at my car. Like I got to the end, got to my car. I had those bottles of water right near the tire where I was hiding. The B-man was hiding the keys to my father's Camry. And as I'm drinking the water, and I have a towel with me because I know I sweat, so I keep it in the car. So I'm wiping myself down, and I notice she's walking to her car. And usually after the B-man's run, I like to go back to the trail to just cool down. I'll walk a little bit and walk back, and then like that's my run. So I'm cooling off, and like she's parked like right across from me, and then I wanted to give her just an acknowledgement. Hey, if it turned to a fuck, fantastic. I know it's most likely not, never does. Clearly, when I'm not wearing a shirt, glistening with sweat, just a disgusting human being. But I was going to say her, like, hey, thanks for being a pacemaker for me. I really appreciate it. Nothing more. Just one rudder to another. I tip on my penis to her. But as like she gets right to her car, and immediately gets in her car, and I'm not like I'm within eyesight of her, not touching distance, maybe within 20 feet of each other, right? Within less than 10 yards of each other. She gets in her car, turns the engine on, backs up, turns away. Now, this babe, I'm guessing she's young, over 18, under 23, maybe college, maybe like right out of college. This is perfect. Prime sexual market value. 5'3", 4", the ponytail, the perfect legs, the perfect buttocks, chest. They could be enhanced, but hey, the rest of her body fantastic. But the vehicle she was in was a Lexus SUV. Was it a Lexus or a Mercedes? A black. Expensive vehicle, luxury vehicle, probably not her own, probably her parents. So and she's in what town was she in? No, Simsbury. But I just got the vibe. Hey, she has parents who do well. She's a beautiful babe. Her life's she's gonna be fine. Unless there's a tragic accident, she's going to marry a Chad. They're going to have a big house, beautiful children, and no hate here. You're born into what you're born into. Now let's get to me. All right, I noticed the vehicle. I noticed her. I told you all about this, babe. So but what I noticed as she got into her vehicle and sped off, she did not acknowledge the B-man. Can you believe that? This babe had an opportunity to have an interaction with the B-man. Now, she doesn't know who the B-man is, but she lost that opportunity. But even more than that, I realized in that moment that when I was going to thank her for, using her as a pacemaker for my run, that I was invisible to her. Like I just spent, how long? 15 minutes. 15 plus minutes describing this babe, hot babe with the ponytail, the lively ponytail, and the bouncing, and her outfit, and her stride, and her athleticism, and her vehicle. Like I told you, I spent 15 minutes painting a picture of this babe. She doesn't know who the B-man is. And I was running back and forth for 4 miles on a Saturday, or maybe it was a Sunday afternoon, right? And I was invisible to her. And I have to accept that. I have to accept she's in her early 20s, probably. I'm terrible with age. The B-man's in his early 40s. That there are going to be babes who are starting to not even recognize. They don't even acknowledge my existence. Don't even know I'm there, but I'm invisible. They will talk about the wall with women. Well, there's a wall with men too, especially when men with their shirts off who aren't very muscular. So I have to. I have to come to terms with that. And the older I get, the more invisible I'm going to become to the hot babes. Their loss, mine as well. And I have also realized that when I have a camera, though, I am not invisible because I do a lot of camera work, making videos. And whenever I have the camera out, I am invisible. It's almost become I become a hot babe. People start trying to interact with me. What are you filming? What's this for? How long you been here? It's like a lot of probing questions, trying to figure out who I am. What's his story? Can he make me famous? It's like, nah, dude. I'm just. Are you a professional? Nah, dude. I'm just making smutty videos. Anyways. So that was my run. My pace: 4 miles, 8 minutes, 3 seconds. I was happy with my run. I like my runs to be under an 8-minute pace mile though. So, but again, for July, 90-degree humid day, 8:03, man, that's all right. That is all right. And I want to tip of my penis to the pacemaker with the beautiful, lively ponytail, even though that bitch, that floozy didn't even acknowledge me. Like, didn't even recognize me. Oh well. All right, moving along. That was a weird opening, huh? That was a weird opening. Anyways, this comes from the subreddit complaints. So X can be mostly divided into 2 parts. At least the part of it I see on my timeline. Nazis and people who are usually normal and sane. I accepted that a long time ago. However, it turns out that that's not true. Even the vast majority of people I interacted with and followed and thought were normal think that innocent people in Israel should die, even the children. I am not exaggerating one bit. I actually argued with people who said that. Excuse me. Not only that, they think Iran should use nuclear bombs. I can't fathom having any emotional reaction to what's happening right now other than having empathy for the people of Iran, Israel, Palestine, and disdain for the people responsible for these terrors. Well, how about some empathy for the invisible runners out there in the world? All right, back to you. Tell me you're addicted to social media without specifically telling me, the B-man, you're addicted to social media. You just did. You just did there, honey. There's something I find amusing about going to one social media platform, Reddit, to declare your retirement from another social media platform, this being X, formerly known as Twitter. Like that's funny. That's very meta. That is somebody who's addicted to doom scrolling on the phone, and that would be yourself. I disagree. No, honestly, I'm not seeing your timeline, but I spend every evening a half hour at least before I go to sleep doom scrolling through X, Twitter, and not once. And I have some weird, I have a weird timeline. So if you've been following the B-man, you can't even imagine how weird my timeline is with the people I follow. Like it is, talk about the island of misfit toys. Like this is Alcatraz with the alligators. You know, Trump wants to put an Alcatraz with the alligators keeping everybody in. Like that's my timeline. Everybody in that prison. Like it's wild my timeline. But like I every day I doom scroll through X, Twitter. Not once has anybody on my timeline tried to recruit me to the Hitler Youth. Not once has that happened. Now I do have my complaints with Twitter, X. I love calling it X too, because it does infuriate people. When I call it X, I go, no, it's Twitter. Like, no, it's X. It's actually X. And there's a little dispute. And I know I'm right. And they get frustrated. And it's just, sometimes you gotta be a troll. And when you're in the right, it's even more fun. Anyways, I have my disputes. I have my things with X that just irk me. I'm a part of it. I used to be part of Yankee Twitter, the New York Yankees. I used to follow a lot of accounts who that's all they talk about. But there were so many content creator, Yankee content creators on X Twitter that hate the Yankees. They would have you think that the New York Yankees are the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, let me ask you this. Do the Yankees have the best player in Major League Baseball? Yes, they do, Aaron Judge. Were the Yankees in the World Series last year? Yes, they were. Have the New York Yankees not had a losing season since the early 1990s? Yes, that is correct. And yet, every Yankee creator on X, Twitter, whines and moans and just talks smack about the manager and Cashman and the entire lineup. It's like, dude, we got it pretty good as Yankee fans. And I'm convinced that all the Yankee creators on X hate watching the Yankees play baseball. Therefore, I had to step away from baseball Twitter in its entirety, which is very easy to do on X. You just mute, block those accounts. So you honey, if you have all these Nazis on X, it's much easier to curate X than it is Reddit. And in my not so humble opinion, Reddit is much more of a cesspool than X Twitter is. They Reddit with the upvotes and the downvotes, like you don't really see any unique comments on Reddit until you go all the way to the bottom, the hidden ones with all the downvotes. Those are usually the ones the B-Man agrees with. Yeah, so I mean, it's easy. It is easy to curate your X to avoid all the Nazis. And again, I don't know. I just don't see many people trying to like recruit me to the Third Reich. I like where like you're the type of person who's just never going to be happy. Like, hate to break it to you, sister, but you ain't ever going to be happy. And it's got nothing to do with X or Twitter or Elon Musk. It's just you're a political person. And a person like yourself, where you turn everything into politics, like that type of person who you are, never happy. You are never happy. You're happy the day, the week, your party, your person wins an election, and you're thrilled for a day, then someone on Twitter puts up a meme that irks you, and it ruins your entire mood. And it's just like, dude, and your mind is rotted with politics, and there's no coming back from that. So it's not Twitter, it's politics, and it's social media in general that it's making you a curmudgeon, an unhappy person. And it's not the content creators, it's you and what's in your soul. You're a type of person who goes out on Saturday, like the Antifa and the Proud Boys, trying to get off the second Civil War, while the B-Man, I'm over here drinking a Modelo, smoking a joint, just enjoying a hot, humid July afternoon run with a babe with a bouncy ponytail. And you're never going to be that. You're never going to be that because your two balls are vagina deep into politics. And it's got nothing to do with X or Twitter or Reddit. So, enjoy your miserable life. Yeah, because U.S. politics, left and right, is miserable. And that's why you are miserable. Let's go look at some photos. Cannot believe I forgot to wear this jersey. Episode 151. How did I forget to wear this jersey? Maybe it's better that the B-Man did not wear this jersey because the number is on the back. Bernie Williams, number 51, that is. And on my back, you would not be able to see it. Bernie Williams hit one of the best home runs in Yankee history. ALDS against the Baltimore Orioles in 1996, Yankee Stadium, upper deck, left field. All right, that's a little inside baseball. Unless you're a real Yankee fan of a certain age, you don't know what the fuck the B-Man is talking about. But I do, and it brings back warm, loving memories. Anyway, speaking of inside baseball, a little inside baseball for those of you who attend and or perform at open mics. I go to mostly comedian, open mic, stand-up comedy when I do go to a mic. But sometimes I will go to a music open mic or a mic that will have like mixed acts, like comedy, music, magic, poetry, poetry, spoken word. And there's this thing where it was stand-up, you go up, you do your 5 minutes, and then you're done. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, honey. But with musician open mics, a lot of times musicians get 2 or 3 songs like per performer, whereas in comedy it's limited to 5 minutes. So 2 or 3 songs, if you're a musician, that could be 10, 15 minutes. And I've noticed, over the years, every single time a musician, especially if they got the guitar, the acoustic guitar, they'll get up there. And a lot of times, they're not even performing an original song. They'll be doing a cover of a famous song. But before they get into the song, they'll do a backstory. Ooh, that's what my voice is cracked there. They'll do a backstory as to why they're playing the song and what it means to them, like I just did with Bernie Williams, and why they're going to play the song. When I'm in the audience waiting for my turn, and I'm just like, just keep it moving, honey. Keep it moving. Like, we don't give a fuck about why you're playing the song. Just play the song. You're playing 3 songs. It's going to take you 15 minutes. There's 15 people on the list. That means this is going to be a 3+ hour mic. None of us want to be here till 11+ p.m. So play your fucking song and keep it moving. Keep it moving. We don't need you're not Bruce Springsteen. You didn't even write this song. You're doing a cover song. Like, just play the song, play the second song, play the third song if you're allowed, and get the fuck off the mic so the B-man can get on the mic and tell you some chuckles, some dick jokes, some smut jokes. Get nuclear on that audience, all right? That's just a little inside baseball, since baseball is the theme of this episode, 151. Episode 251, I got to remember to wear the Bernie Williams jersey, Yankees center fielder back in the day. That's just, there's a little, just respect the other artists who have to perform. Time is money, as they say. All right, keeping it moving along. This comes from, another complaint. This comes from a subreddit, Unregulated Complaints. I hate how libraries are no longer a quiet place. Do tell? I'm in a library right now, and people are just blatantly talking at full volume. Both the patrons and the staff. I've had several other experiences like this in the past few years. Libraries used to be literally the only place in society where you were expected to keep your voice down or not speak at all, and give people peace and quiet, where you could sit down and get lost in a book and have no one distract you. Nowadays, libraries are pretty much a place for people to use public computers and for school kids to study. And believe it or not, the kids are usually the quiet ones. All I'm asking is one public place where people are quiet. Just one. So I got your back. I'm assuming you're an elderly John. I got your back. You are spot on with your assessment. And this is a result, a byproduct of Western decadence. Quietness, it's of a bygone era. It does not exist anywhere anymore for free. You're absolutely right. The library should be a place where you can read a book, peaceful, quiet, enjoy your day if you have it off or if you're retired. Yeah, but that no longer exists. There's noise at the library. There are Johns who are homeless, who are looking at smut. You cannot escape noise anywhere now. And I just to give you a couple examples, within the last month, I was at a Starbucks, New Haven, downtown New Haven, just a Friday or Saturday afternoon, and they were bumping music in there, and not jazz or piano. It was club, techno-esque music that you would have thought this was not a nightclub, but a lounge. And it was like 1 p.m. on a Saturday, and it was like people there trying to work, and the music was like, dude, this is where unsuccessful artists come to write their screenplays that nobody's going to read, or Yale students come to use ChatGPT to pass their biology class. Like everyone's doing work there, the work that's not going to morph into anything successful. But the coffee cafe, much like the library, used to be a place where it could be quiet. But now at Starbucks, you can't even do a coffee date there, which I don't advise ever doing a coffee date. But if you were at a Starbucks, like, you weren't even, the music was so loud, like you would have to raise your voice to hear each other if you were having a conversation like across the table. And I gotta admit, like I love going to Yankee games, Yankee Stadium, but the afternoon at the ballpark used to be a peaceful experience. Yes, there would be noise, but the noises would be limited to, the announcer echoing the name of the person coming up to bat, A beer here, beer here. Cracker Jacks, get your Cracker Jacks. The crack of the bat. Like those were the only noises, right? The announcer, the crack of the bat, the concessions people selling beer and Cracker Jacks and popcorn and candy corn. Not candy corn. Who the fuck candy corn? What's the sugar on a stick? What is that? Cotton candy. But that's how it used to be. In 2025, not anymore. Not like, dude, you go to Yankee Stadium now, and the decibel level of the music, the advertisements, the trivia, the games between innings to try to keep the crowd engaged, it's so loud. You have to bring earbuds. Like, you literally almost have to wear a seatbelt on your seat because the decibel level at Yankee Stadium is so loud that it makes you bounce in your seat, that you need to wear a seatbelt to stay seated. It's ridiculous. You love baseball, but you can barely hear the crack of the bat because it's so loud in that stadium. And I got to imagine it's the same at all other 31, 32 baseball stadiums. So there is nowhere you can go to get peace and quiet for free, as you just acknowledged there at the library that you're at right now, or when you wrote this post. Yeah, a lot of the academia, the world of academia, they talk about white flight in the 1950s and 60s. The white people would move from the city to the suburbs. And a lot of people in academia will say, well, that's because the white people, they hate the blacks, racism, they wanted to get away. The more I think about it, maybe race has something to do with it, but I think more than anything else, it was just the whiteys wanted to get away from the noise of the city. They wanted the peace and quiet of the suburbs. Like right now, I live in the suburbs, and even that, like, that's not peace and quiet. It used to be when I was younger, but not anymore. Like, I live in a very safe, homely neighborhood, but I've noticed the past few years that's starting to erode. During the summer, there are much more fireworks being popped off on random nights in the summer than previous years. There's a house across the woods that plays music every weekend that we can hear in our backyard, and the peace and quietness of the suburbs. Why you pay the big bucks, the big property taxes to get away from the noise from the city. The white flight, gone, dunzo, no longer exist. In the year 2025, peace and quietness does not come free. You got to pay for it. There's a reason why people pay to go to Equinox, that expensive gym, or you go to those airport, like the Delta Club, the clubs in the airport. Like, you're not paying the club or Equinox. You're just paying to get away from the annoying people. That's why the fee is so high. Like, peace and quiet in 2025 for free? Dunzo. It ain't here. It ain't here. And anybody, any politician, or any person who's advocating for public transit, that's a person who does not have to take public transit every day to work. We're at a point now, if you have to take public transit, especially New York City and or Connecticut, where you feel as though you won the lottery, right? If there's not Jesus bumping Spanish music from his Bluetooth speaker in your train, or a Karen having a loud conversation on speakerphone, like you just expect to hear noise when you're on public transit. And anybody who's advocating for that, more of that, nah, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't getting my vote. I love a peaceful, quiet car. So, yeah, man, it's over. I hope you enjoyed the quietness, the silence when you had it, because it ain't coming back because of Western decadence. All right, let's continue reading A Salesman's Wife by the great author John Lawrence. We are top of page 177. We will read 2 pages together aloud, as we always do. He let his hand trail lovingly up her smooth leg until it reached the warm crevice up between her thighs. At once she spread her legs wide, offering him her golden mound willingly. Alan thought he would burst apart with joy, for she had never done this in the entire time they have been married. At last she was responding fully as a woman. Deftly he slipped his middle finger into the warm little ring of her vaginal sheath and slowly snaked it up inside the gently pulsing passage, widening the muscles, moving deeper and deeper. At the same time, he bent down and began to suck and nip at her rosy nipples. Oh, she sighed as tingles of warmth washed over her body. Oh, Alan! She was consumed with pleasure as the finger slipped deeper into her cuntal sheath, and his lips played teasingly with the hardening buds of her proud young breast. Happily, she placed her hands directly down between his legs and began to fondle his enormous cock, which throbbed achingly erect, hard as a rock. Alan roved his lips hungrily over each of Pamela's soft, widely set breast, lost in Brazilian texture of those subtle mounds. Each teasing little bite of her nipples and breast sent shivers of ecstasy through his wife's body, and he was overjoyed to feel her responding so sensually to his foreplay. He moaned happily as she skillfully massaged his genitals with her hand, making him raunchy and potent with lust. Oh, he thought, how fine it's going to be to fuck thy sweet woman of mine now, man. He increased the activity with the middle finger up between her gently parted thighs, lubricating her pussy with the torrid insinuations, and at the same time, Pamela responded fully by gripping his cock expertly, so that he was growing wildly aroused, eager to slip his mammoth tool into her little cunt. "Let me come into you," he whispered fervently. "Let me come into you." "Yes," she sighed. Immediately she lay back contently and spread her legs wide, pushing her curly pussy mound upward like a flower, inviting him to fuck her. Alan positioned himself over her with great care and placed his throbbing tool at the entrance of her pussy. Then slowly, savoring every ripple of the delight that ran through him, he sank his lust-engorged shaft into the wetly pulsing folds of her cunt as his wife groaned in ecstasy, stretching her luscious body sensuously to receive him. Oh, you feel so good," she groaned. "So good." He slid deeply into her until the tip of his throbbing cockhead finally brushed against her spongy cervix, the contact sending electrifying thrill through both of their bodies. Go suck a fat one.